I'm back. Got a beep there when I said looks as though I'm back. I'm back in the same spot because oh, I must look at what I'm filming. I got completely sidetracked there. Wasn't even looking at the camera. That's the entrance that I come through at the dead end of my dead end street, where you can just walk through there onto this City Westlink Road. It's City Westlink, and here we're going to see. I hope these cars are going to come out with some of them with their lights on. I know I'm going on about these lights, but I'm going to go on about these car lights till the last, because it is what it is, as they often say. Well, what it is a matrix. See the trees blowing up there? That means the matrix god, the controlling entity that is worshipped and followed by groups of people, or groups of human-like people that operate on behalf of their God. Many people, of course, to my way of observing, well, when I say many, maybe not many, but there are some at least that I observe in my own personal life that operate unintentionally or indirectly for this thing. Because if you are going against your own kind, like real life human beings in any way, then you're really supporting that matrix and this controlling system. I don't know what I'm saying here. Flowers on Norton, it says on that sign. Flowers on Norton Street. Norton Street is the main street of Leichhardt. I think that I should... well, we've got a few. I rather like these. I better show you the garden here, seeing that my garden has vanished in the little front of my place. It was only like this here, really, in the sense that, like here, it ran wild. In fact, these very things that are here were growing in my front, apart from an avocado tree in the centre. But the matrix god and its followers, whether they know it or not, that operated for that negative entity or anti-life, anti-human entity, as I showed you, and the thing pulled up every single plant in the front, so that it's now just barren dirt, empty, like, in some ways, like the empty vessels that are around. Because if you don't, if you're operating for this matrix, you really have to empty your mind at the very least. I'm not saying that's the whole picture. I can't even hear myself here too well, actually, because the traffic is too loud. I'm gonna, I'm getting totally bamboozled. Can you see the car lights? This one's blinking. It's one headlight. One headlight. Okay, I am going to, oh look, the sky is quite cloudy, coming over quite cloudy, and kind of interesting, I think, but I don't know if it will come out. It looks a little bit spooky, but at the same time very interesting. If only I could be in a reality where I could come outside. Right. Bike coming behind me scared the life out of me. And of course, no doubt, that bike rider probably did take some life out of me, because that is what actually happens. That is how it works. And I really was not, I was about to say that in a reality that I would think is real, I should be able to come outside, come down here. I probably wouldn't even do it. I wouldn't come here with a mobile if I was in a real reality. I'd just come outside and look at the sky and say, oh, that's interesting, or maybe I better get going because it might rain or something, but I would still take in the naturalness of it, and probably, even if I thought it was going to rain, I might not be overly stressed. Whereas it doesn't matter what the weather is like now in this matrix, you're stressed all the time, and I wouldn't have to be filming a matrix. With all these cars, with a matrix cars watching and getting angry at me for doing it probably, which is probably why they ripped up all the so-called plants in the front of my place. But, you know, it's just because their negativity becomes overwhelming to those around. They can't help it because their negative energy life forms or non-life forms, because they're non-life if you are a real life human being, because they oppose you and drain the real life out of you. Any positive energy you have, any just normal thinking, because normal human beings don't naturally think destructive or negative all the time. Unlike these cars, that a large amount of them are negative frequency beings. Now, if I wasn't out here, I could probably get a better vibe on what I'm talking about, because so I'm just going to go all over the place and just go completely with feelings and nothing else, because I can't concentrate enough to make logical, coherent conversation out here, to be honest. That's the truth. So, you know, I should be, you know, in fact, in recent times I've had trouble even inside making videos, because I do it ad lib, as you know, just as it comes to me, even though I do have, sometimes I'll get, actually I make my best videos in my head before I actually make a video, if thoughts will come to me and I think, oh, I should say that, but of course I'm not filming or making a video. So here we, I don't know what I'm doing here. Here we have, they're slowing up all the traffic. There all it is, there you have your matrix lineup of cars that essentially are all opposed to any real life human beings. Now, which I'm not, and as I said before, see these cars with all their lights on, they are real, they are anti-life, negative, you know, because we have positive and negative in this matrix, if you put it at a basic level. All these cars that have the lights on, if they're coming out, are in opposition to the positive life forms, or to real life, in my way of looking at it. Because technical beings, or people who are controlled by technology, are not right. Getting a few little bibs as they go past, which normally they're louder than that, because they don't want to make me look as though I'm making any sense, because I know some people think I don't make any sense. And wind is blowing up. I'm going to do something. I'm going to push it here. You probably think she thinks walking half a block up the street is pushing it. Well, for me it is, in a matrix, but also filming. I can actually, look, you know, as a human being, you know, 6 years ago, because it was 4 years ago when the matrix came down on me. I've said this before. But 6 years ago, that's like 2 years before that, and most of that time, I felt as though I was walking on air when I was walking around. I did not feel burdened or, I had psychological problems and personal problems, but I never felt when I was walking, in fact, the opposite, when apart from, like I say, my own internal, personal mindset problems, which are, matrix programmed things, I've been told, and whichever way you look at it, they're part of your environmental history from the day you're born, so if you have bad experiences, they do affect you emotionally, because human beings' emotions and feelings are what contribute with thought, but often it's just the emotions and the feelings that make the reality in this time now, because we are not able to think clearly enough, because the matrix has taken over so much. The matrix does the thinking and brings you down to a low level to where your negative feelings and emotions enables the matrix and the matrix God and its followers, its believers, its disciples to then bring in the reality that they want, which is a negative, low frequency environment for a human being, almost unlivable really. I'm angry today because of, the last few months, but when they get really cheeky, shall we say, and show openly that they don't like you, like ripping up plants and things, which they rarely do. They have done it before actually, but a fair while ago, and not as obviously, but that lost the train of thought. But what I'm saying is, so that makes you angry. Now, when you're angry and you also feel threatened, but you have two ways of reacting. And normally I would retreat into myself and be really quiet and crawl under a rock and do nothing and hide and that would how I would have behaved in the past before I was aware of the matrix. But you see, the matrix attacks all the time and has been in recent times, full on. So you sort of say that it's not probably going to improve your lot by doing what comes naturally almost. So you actually get angry and say, well, I will take the mobile a bit further down the road. Now, I'm not even looking into this mobile because I am trying. That was at me, that bed, by the way. So was that one. But I don't know why they would care that I'm filming cars, because it's not like I can see the people. But these are matrix car lights, even though it is heading towards the sun. The sky is still there, but it is heading. Oh, actually, I think it might even rain because it looks a bit dark down that end. It's still light up this end a bit, even though there's a lot of clouds. There wasn't clouds just an hour or two ago. The clouds seem to come as soon as I come down here. That's because it's a matrix. Now I'm walking up here and I'm hoping that I'm not sky is a bit blue there, see, it's still blue. I don't know if that's coming up, but it's grey down there, and it's grey down there. What's this sign say here? I better just walk back to it. What's it say? Oh, there it goes. See? You say we're not in a matrix, but you see, we are in a matrix. Red is the favourite colour of the matrix, and we have a red light camera ahead. Most people think that is normal. That's a brick wall. Behind that is the bus depot. Here we go. Here is an obvious, this one's obliging with a bright light. But, see, you know, people, and myself included, you get used to a reality where you think that it is okay to have cameras everywhere. That's a matrix. That's a matrix control system, even at the most basic, simplistic human level that most people would not deny is the reality. I'm saying this matrix, and a lot of people know this is true. The real humans are starting to realise that it's true, that the matrix I've got a diversion there. But most people that are real life people that don't just operate under a total negative energy vibration, and that are not technological, because all technological things that operate through technology or have technology in their basic essence are negative frequency beings or people even, because you can take any, you can have different personalities, as you know, in a human form, and so you can have, it's the same thing. You can have a different, possession is where a different being, a negative dead being, takes over the body of, takes a human body. Feeling a bit, I definitely feel as though I'm in the land of the dead out here in a way, even though the traffic is moving fast, but it's a technological traffic. But also, if you see, and you see it with your naked eye, and you see some of the people, the faces, and the vibe, it is all negative. It is not a positive frequency. But either way, I lost my train of thought. See, that truck that come along with that music and them and those people, that was a diversion to stop my flow of conversation and my video, because they like to wreck even that, which, that's my fault too, because you really do have to completely concentrate and focus. That the purpose of the matrix is to take your focus and concentration daily, every second of the day, off your proper way of thinking. In other words, if you even want to do the simplest task, it will take your mind off that, because that's how the matrix beings are. They live in chaos. They want real life human beings to live in chaos too, negative chaos, to where they don't know what they're doing, like I don't. And I'm feeling very, I actually do feel quite surrounded here. Yes, I actually feel like as though I'm in a matrix trap. See, a matrix, I'm back on track here with my thinking, but it won't be long, because I must just keep focused on the camera and what I'm actually filming and what I'm actually saying. Okay, but I was going to walk further up because, you know, you don't know what tomorrow holds as a human being at all. I've been made very aware of that over the last month in particular. 2 months, in fact, really. You know, from the minute that the dog was killed, I was already aware of that. You know, I mean, your daily, even everything is, I can't even explain it. It's just so anti-life and so negative on a daily basis. Like, you know, if you didn't know that is the purpose and that you are being directed towards your own demise, you actually would welcome it. And that is not how you're meant to be living in this matrix. It is meant to be our Earth too, even if it's a matrix, because this matrix doesn't have to be a technologically controlled domain 100% anyway. You know, you can still have nature in it, as you can see. They only allow nature in it so that us human beings are not aware that we are in a total technological domain, and real life might actually find that, you know, disturbing and may object to it, and then they may use their vibration and their thinking to correct it a bit. And that is not, and then, you know, as you can imagine, that is why I have to shout here, because I've got to go over the traffic. That is why, but I'm going to very slowly drag myself up here. Notice I say drag, whereas as I said 6 years ago, I actually was conscious that I felt as though I was walking on air, even though I could not jog or run or do athletic things like many of the Matrix people will openly show off in front of you, these things. But they are low energy beings. They get temporary spurts of high energy, which they collect and actually draw from human beings. Like this traffic is drawing negative energy from me. In fact, if I wasn't thinking that I was talking to something positive, maybe on the other side of the world while I'm making a video, it is extremely negative to be out just walking to your shops, you know, on a daily basis, out into this lot. But either way, I'm not concentrating here, but there's less matrix lights on the cars. Maybe some of them are either shy or don't forget. I was just going to mention this before too. I think that is a van of the authorities there. When I say the authorities, they're all different organisations. You know, like you have your different departments. You have your your ambulance department and your fire department and your various departments. That one there is, our law enforcement vehicle. Except that they are in collaboration with a lot of these other vehicles, which actually are not law enforcement, but they are enforcing their presence on real life human beings. They're not technically breaking a law, not unless you consider that following someone around and tracking them and moving in and out of their space continually is breaking some sort of legal law. I mean, it's not really even debatable. But if you have the vast majority agreeing to that, whether they say this is our surveillance of what we consider to be undesirable real life, because we have the right to take life from them because we need it for our survival. That's how it really is. At a basic, bottom line, human and beings or entities of the matrix level. I'm walking slowly up here. And I might run out of space if I don't move a bit faster, actually, because but like I say, it's a matrix regardless. Oh, the wind, the God entity is blowing up on the leaves. I'll continually show you these bushes and the trees that are along this road to show you the mood of, the matrix people's God. I find it funny saying that in a way because, there are many, well, you may as well look at this because I can't show you my garden in the front seeing it's been demolished. It will grow back, even natural life can't really be defeated as much as what the matrix is thinking. In fact, it'll probably grow back stronger, but it will take time. So in the meantime, you're left with dead dirt, which is what, like I say, I made that fancy title. I changed it because it came to me after I'd already put another one on the video. But this is not very good filming, I have to admit. It should be much better. Sorry. Matrix cars with lights. I don't know if they're coming out. Should I do the numbers just up here? No, I'm going to try to get up to the corner here. There's no reason I shouldn't be able to, except that I can feel the wind blowing on me. And, and a lot of matrix cars. Now this road, while I can concentrate on it, see there's a sign over there, but it won't come out on the mobile at all because it won't come out on the mobile because I can see it clearly with the naked eye, and it says Sydney in front, Balmain Road to the left and Balmain to the left, which is true, just over there, but you have to go down the intersection at the end of the corner there. Now, my point, and I don't know if it's relevant, there we have a truck. Now I'm going to be synchronistic here. Supply Chain Solutions. Lynn Fox. Well, I'm not sure about the Lynn Fox. I'd have to think about that one. But the supply, so they supply a chain of solutions to the human life matrix problem that they are trying to eliminate at this end time situation or scenario, if I want to be more fancy. And I do want to be fancy for a video because otherwise it's boring to most people, especially if you don't believe in a matrix. But either way, they're boring videos unless you are really, I would say, thinking in terms of wanting to support real life only, because there are most matrix disciples speak as much truth even as a real life human. but they are coming out of the mouths of, you know, technological babes of the Matrix, shall we say. So I don't know if that made any sense. So, you know, you can still get truth from any source, but if you get truth from a source that is really in opposition to that truth, or is, you know, like a Matrix disciple or operative, as we say, then it's okay to listen to that and believe it and know it's true, because they will prove it and put it much better than, you know, a simple little, you know, low status kind of, you know, low, you know, people like myself. But, you know, you do have to be careful not to, like that old movie, The Singer, Not the Song. You do have to be careful to realise that it's the song that is good, but the singer is not really part of that song. They're singing a song that they don't really believe in. They're singing a song that they didn't write. I don't know if I put that right, but it's like that. So, whereas maybe, you know, if you know that there's a real live human, and they don't even know very much, or they make bungled up videos like myself, you know, you still, you know, you should be supporting, or at least trusting, is that the word, or in them more, even if they don't know as much as the disciples of the Matrix, because they will not work against you. They may not be able to help you because they may be in a difficult situation. They may not, like myself, have very difficulty even helping themselves. But they will not deliberately connive and plot and scheme to bring you down behind your back, which is the purpose of those that are in connection, as all these cars are connected against, a lot of these cars are connected, not all of them, but a lot of them are connected against with their system, their technological matrix car control suppressed system at a vehicle level. This is only at a vehicle level. They are not. They are working indirectly against you and directly against you if you see it as I do. But either way, they are not going to support or help you. In fact, as I've said before, like my father used to say, and I think someone else copied this comment, but it was not my comment, my father used to say it over and over again when we were young. If you can't do someone any good, don't do them any harm. And that is actually, sounds a good saying. So most of these cars, if they are matrix cars, if they did nothing, they would be doing me and real life a great big favour, because then we could just live, and probably even just in living, as I say, create more positive vibe than what they are. But no, they are not doing that. They are operating in collusion with one another in a matrix car system that does harm and suppresses and brings real life human beings right to their knees, really. And that is so. There is a tiny matrix plane coming over, but it will not come out of the clouds. It's so tiny, but I can see it with my naked eye. And it's just muffled up in against those clouds. You cannot see it at all, so I won't bother, but I can see it. See, that's the difference between a human and even a Matrix person too. Humans notice the little details, but the Matrix is using that against us at the moment because everything seems like, a surrounding, controlling force, which it is. That's what it's meant to be. But it looks innocent. A lot of people find this traffic even here innocent. It's not innocent. It just looks that way. It looks like. But what I was going to say is that you might get more of a. I better keep moving. Oh, I've stopped and lost the whole thing. I've got to push along up here if I can. Push along up here. This is the. I should have just walked up here first and then turned the camera on up at the top. Perhaps I should do that because otherwise I'm wasting film. Look at all these cars backed up over there. That is like a, I don't know, how do you describe that? That is like, to me, all those cars, look at them, all standing still on the other side of the road, all banked up like a traffic jam. Traffic jams surround. They're moving now because I said that, but they like to bank up just when a human being is coming past. Now, even real human beings, many of them might see that as just coincidence and normal and natural, but it actually isn't. All these cars and the lights and everything is all planned, and they do have it down to a very fine degree, to my way of observing it anyway, more than what is I would even think is necessary. But that's because they know the game is closing up. They know the times, they know the situation, they know that they do not want the remaining real life human beings to all see the Matrix at the one time. They don't want that. That is the main purpose. Why? This is what I realised a little while ago. That is the main purpose, as I said before, is the kicking off of human beings one by one. That is a very clever strategy. It's a strategy that has been used, by the Matrix God, even at a practical level in past events, I would imagine. If you've got, if you want to eliminate something, it's a lot harder to do it all in one go than one by one, especially if the one by one is unaware that they've been picked off, like in that movie, The Lost Patrol. The old 1930 movie, The Lost Patrol, where they picked off a stronger force, one by one, so that they were left with nothing. Only one was left, and they need not have lost all their players, shall we say. Oh, I feel very uncomfortable, actually, very uncomfortable. The sky is turning ominous, and I have to admit that it is almost turning like into a little bit of a horror movie almost. I'm going to be dramatic here, but I actually do feel it. My eye feels full. The traffic, when I haven't made it up to the corner. I'm not up there because I'm walking so slow. I'm talking too much. And I don't even know if it's coming out because I can hardly hear myself with the traffic. It's not even that loud. It is actually louder up on the other road that I normally go, which is strange because they have a lot more trucks and semi-trailers and things. It made my ears ring the other night when I went up there. I should have filmed it, but I don't, this is the furthest I've took the mobile, and I will have to try to go further. That fella is giving me the thumbs up over there, which is, I don't know what, I don't, you know, I almost got a good vibe there, strangely enough, which is either that or he is making fun of me. So you never know with whether they're matrix, but real humans probably, would they give you the thumbs up for just standing, you know, on a road with a mobile? I'm not sure. You know, it shows me that they maybe know what's going on. But either way, perhaps they know I'm bungling it up and all over the place, which is true. Like, my knee is sore here too, strangely enough. I got a bib there when I said that. See, when I look down there, it's not going to come out on the mobile. Like, that's why I'm trying to get up to the intersection, because I want to visually show how I interpret the matrix at a visual level. And I know that probably people who, like myself, are aware of it. And, okay, let me try to keep on track here. I was going to say two things. This road here is a city wetland. It goes, as the sign showed there, it goes right from the heart of Sydney right through to Parramatta, which is like, it's not like from one end of Sydney to the other, but it is, it's like going from the heart of the main city, the main centre, past all the suburbs, right out to one of the furthest suburbs. And there are many that are built like this. Now, this wasn't even here when I first came to live here. This was all more trees like over there, and they built this great big, it's almost like a highway, you know. And that is a matrix too, where you have a natural surrounding suburb, you know, where a highway just sweeps through it, which is a technological thing for technological cars to move. Now, you know, I know that, you know, I might be stretching with some of you by saying that. The street lights are starting to come on, so it's getting late and it's getting a bit dark because, look, there are all those ominous dark clouds over there threatening for rain or something. But I don't know if it will or not, because it looks light here. But either way, yeah, street lights come on. That's interesting too. Now, all I'm trying to say is that this road, because this road does go, it's not like just, you know, like I say that Leichhardt is swimming in matrix controlled, or matrix controlling forces of people that are technologically controlled human beings. Human only in the sense that they take human form, because they are low energy, they only are happy to receive low energy. They're dark, dead spirits, if you want to put it that way. If you want to go back like to the Innocence movie, you know, they are those that have been left behind in this earth matrix, like in the Innocence movie where the little girl who is possessed says to the governess, the lady who's looking after her, maybe if you're not a really good girl, then you're just left behind in the earth and you don't go anywhere else. And that is a good comparison, or is the word, you know, a good analogy, as the word goes. I think that's the right word. But all I'm saying is that you might be getting here a better cross section of Sydney, as opposed to, like with the car lights, as to who's a matrix car and what is a real human car, real life human car. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying this road is relevant in that respect, because the matrix God is blowing up there. Because if you just go like down Norton Street, you tend to think that it's more local, and that locally Leichhardt is a total matrix controlled area. Everyone is connected, and almost everyone appears. At least if you see matrix people going in and out of every shop, not obviously not all at once, and so you see that every building is part of it, every house. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't know if I'm putting this right. I'm getting sidetracked here. Getting sidetracked, sorry. Let me concentrate. I had a train of thought. Yes, I think it gives a better cross-section with the lights. They'll soon be coming all on though, because if it hits dark, or if it gets too dark. But look, I'll just... where was my train of thought? There was something else. There were 2 points I want to make. Okay, well, it is getting a little bit... The street lights have come on, so maybe I'm not becoming valid now. In other words, because the street lights have come on, that tends to imply that the sky has gone a bit dark, which it has. So, but even so, with those street lights coming on, and it's still light really, the cars still shouldn't really need lights on, because they've got street lights. I mean, you only have, cars actually, really, as you know yourself, under these heavy, almost highway lights that go all along this road, really, a lot of cars should only need the very lowest lights even on the front of their car, because visually, with their naked eye, with those lights, because I can see everything, and I haven't even got perfect eyesight, so, they shouldn't really need, a lot of lights. But either way, I don't think I can make it down to the corner. It's only just up here, but I don't think I can make the point now. It's getting, anyway, I think maybe I should go back. I might try again. But see all those cars down there? And it's not going to come out, it's coming out clearly to me all the time with the naked eye. See how the backs of all the cars, it's all bright red. Don't forget, red is another matrix colour. Red is a favoured colour of the God entity, I would imagine. Could be wrong. But you see them all lined up, at lights, and when they slow down, and you just see a mass of red. And to me, it's like open allegiance, once again, open support, open, even though, like I say, there could be many real people who put their car lights on, when they're pulling up, and because the cars are now built and designed that way to show connection to the God, to show support for the God, to show through symbolism. See, it's symbolic, because the God demands, as I've pointed out before, acknowledgement in this reality, whether it's through just visual symbolism, and like if you accidentally, like I've done myself so many times in making the video, don't put your face on the video and then unintentionally are only showing one eye. Now, I'm not going any further. I want to... Actually, the buildings there are interesting, only if you're from overseas. But I think I'm getting late here, and I think I better go back, because I want to get down the road before that rain. So I just took too long to get down to the corner. But either way, just one last look at the car lights. That car's got one light brighter than the other. That is the one headlight. One headlight. Okay, I'm going to try to concentrate. I lost my 3 trains of ideas, but one has just come back to me. The one headlight. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying here. One car light, 2 car lights, one without lights, 2 with lights, one without lights, 2 motorbikes with lights. Okay, are they coming out? This is just showing a Sydney cross-section. That shows you, that is giving you a widespread indication of numbers in a big city, as opposed to just me saying, oh, I've got a lot of matrix people surrounding me in my suburb, okay? Because this is an open road. One headlight there, one without, 2 with, one without, one with, one without, 3 with, 4 with, 5 without, 6 with, 7 without, 8 with, 9 with, 10 without. But that's a taxi. Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't have a taxi driver that isn't part of the taxi matrix organisation, the same as all public transport, all departments, all organisations, everything is controlled by the matrix now at this end time. There is no individual organisations that run separately, run by completely 100% real-life human beings. That is not possible. That does not exist. In fact, stretching it, the only real-life or individual life forms that are doing anything are probably suppressed and not part of anything. That is why at this finishing time, being dramatic here, but it is true, even though it is dramatic. It's melodramatic, I know, and I don't like being that in that acting mode, because that's what you're surrounded with in a matrix. You're surrounded by a set-up matrix full of stage actors. Well, he's got the orange things on the back, but either way, they're trying to bamboozle me from my thought. But either way, at this, just while I'm commentating, you see if you can pick out the lights on the car. And also noise too, if any make a noise, but this is relatively quiet in comparison with the other Parramatta Road. And even that, they play me and modulate the sound, change the sound according to whether I am filming. If I was filming, they can in a split second bring the noise down. In fact, they bring it up. The cars make more noise the minute they know they're in the clear. I've observed this. I observed it over the last couple of nights. Okay. Where was I? Yeah. Okay. So at this time, I can't see what I'm closing my eyes to try to concentrate, so I don't know what I'm filming. At this end time, the matrix is targeting real individual life human beings. In other words, separate real life human beings, individual. They're being targeted one by one, not all at the same time, or at least some might be at this time, like myself, but they will not be like next door to you or in your local vicinity to where you can access them for support. Because the matrix needs huge numbers to control and suppress the frequency of real life individual human beings. That's why it targets, suppresses them and brings them down one by one or separately in different areas, so there is no way that we can bring up the vibration together, because if you're separately isolated and suppressed, as is their game and how they set it up, sometimes it takes them years to set up a situation, I think, to where they can finally openly do that. And I've just lost it here. One headlight on that car, one brighter than the other. Okay, just this final thing, and then I'll go on with the one headlight. One car without lights, one with, one without lights, two with, one without, two with, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with, 8 without lights, 9, 10, 11 with, 1 without lights, 2 with lights, 2 without lights, 2 with lights, 1 without, 2 with lights. When they have the double lights, that's even more obvious. That light flashed one headlight at me as it was coming round, but did not come out as it come past. Okay, that's just Matrix playing with the lights, knowing that I can see it and that if I say it to you, it won't come out on the video. Okay, 1 with lights, 2 without lights, 3 without lights, 1 truck with lights, 3 cars coming up without lights, 4th car without lights, 5 with lights, 6th car with dim lights, 1 car coming up flashing its one side headlight at me, but that may or may not come out on the video. Okay. 2, 3 cars coming up without lights, if I can see correctly. It's very hard looking in this thing and the lights as well. And I'm having to use up a lot of energy because I'm shouting here into the mobile. 1 with lights, 1 without lights. Hope it's coming out. Getting pretty dull here now. 1 with lights, 1 without lights, 1 with lights. Now that it's getting dull, they shall soon be all putting their lights on, so the validity of my saying that only in daylight can I use the road as an example of numbers that are in connection in a collaborative system of matrix suppressing, patrolling, and trying to subdue the frequency of real life human beings. 1 with lights, 1, 2, 3 without lights, 3 with lights, 4th with lights, 5 without lights, 6, 7 with lights, 8, 9 without lights, 10, 11 with, 1 without. I'm finding it hard to keep track here actually. I could be getting these numbers just slightly. I might be missing the odd car because they're a bit fast for me and the wind's blowing up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with lights, 6, 7 without lights, 9, 10 with, 2 more without lights, 3, 1, 2, 3 with lights. I could be getting these numbers wrong. Look, it isn't giving any indication, and you probably can't keep track of it. 1 without lights in front, 2nd a matrix car with lights, 3rd matrix car with lights because they're a little bit brighter. My naked eye can discern this because I'm, pretty much looking at these lights and studying them now. So. And also, when you become very conditioned to the light and sound show that the Matrix wants you, yes, they're happy that I'm actually in it. They might not be happy that I'm filming it, but they're happy that I'm focused on it because that's what they want. They want you to focus on their Matrix, not to focus on yourself or another real or connect with another real person. It's all about them keeping you, your mind and your thoughts and even your actions being controlled by this. And as you can see, it is controlling me because I'm filming it. 1 headlight on that car, extra bright 1 headlight on that car over, this one blinking, this one blinking, but they are changing lanes. So, but I say that they still are matrix control cars, probably. There could be the odd human amongst it. That's another thing too. In other words, a real human that is not part of this matrix car patrol system. You know, and is not connected to all these other vehicles. That is, yes, just an individual, real person going home or going somewhere. And not focused on me standing here even for that matter. Because if you were a real human, you probably wouldn't even care. But the Matrix people care. That's why they get angry and negative if they can't control you and suppress you and keep your frequency and vibration and thoughts and feelings at a very negative level all the time. Because they, you know, can only consume and can only vibrate at that low frequency. And because they're a non-life form inside, even though externally they may smile and be full of energy, that is only after, like that, see that gentleman walked past me there, right? That walked past me and tried to capture negative energy from me. But if my energy was not low enough, then that would have been an unsuccessful attempt. I would say it was unsuccessful because although I'm extremely stressed out here, most of the time I'm much lower than this. But because I'm thinking that maybe I might be connected through the video with some real life, somewhere on the other side of the world, probably. And because I think there may be a point to doing it, to show the car-like matrix system, well, actually I could even be wrong about that because my body did feel quite funny just then. But in fact the human body, you know, is brought down terribly as well at a physical level, health-wise, you know, vitality-wise, pain-wise, mobility-wise. I know that myself. You know, your body feels stiff, you don't have the mobility that it used to have. In fact, you can walk, but you can't, you're not very agile or mobile or flexible. Flexible, is that the word? You know, like if I sit down or if I lay down on the floor, I cannot get myself up. Not unless someone pulled me up or if I had a railing to grab onto and pull myself up. That is not normal. You know, if I was sitting in a bathtub, I probably would not be able to pull myself out now, whereas when I was, you know, younger, which is why I like to have a bath, but haven't used a bathtub for about 20 years. But that's nothing to do with that totally. There's, but recently I realised that I could not, if I could not pull myself out of a bathtub. In other words, would be stuck in a bathtub. That is, I'm just pointing that out, and that is because of technological matrix suppression through negative almost what you could call radiation. I don't know what words you use to describe the technology because I don't understand technology, but it's not something you can feel, but you feel the results of it because if it deteriorates your body, then you can get, you know, mild physical pain and ailments and different things. That is not the same as when the Matrix people, you combine and actually send direct negative energy at a high level directly at points of your body. That is, that is like a direct manipulation with the body to extract negative energy from you, to extract pain from you, to extract your emotional pain from you, because if you come in contact with direct, real strong negative energy of a technical variety, that can cause extreme discomfort and sometimes even unbearable pain. So therefore, the matrix nice little doggy anyway. Matrix little dog. But then they can, and they do that. Because if you try to work against the matrix by consciously trying to override it with positive feelings and thoughts, even though you know you're being suppressed and you don't like it, but you do that as a conscious effort to try to stabilise the reality or to balance out the negative. Also, it's an end time scenario, so it's do or die, shall we say. So then the matrix will have to turn up the volume, shall we say. Turn up the volume at a sound level, turn up the volume at a sight level, but also turn up the volume at a pain level, so that it depends on how much negative frequency they can extract from you. If they can't get it out of you one way, they will try another way, because these beings must have the negative energy, negative life for their survival, for their sustenance, for them to keep going, so they can keep this negative matrix going and keep suppressing and taking real life either out of the matrix or bringing it to the same level as themselves, to where you are playing unintentionally for the matrix. Because if you get angry and you hit out and you do negative things yourself, as I've done, then you feel so low and ashamed, as you should be, that your frequency goes right down. And I don't think I'm putting this right. The matrix is too strong. The wind is blowing up and I better head back. I can't get down to the corner. So I failed there. You can see a few buildings. They're city buildings. They're in the background a little bit. If I got down to the end, you can see there's a very nice bridge down there too, which is quite worth looking at, that goes right across the water down there, right down. But you can see it if you get down to the corner there. You can see some of it. If you go even many blocks further down, you can see it properly. Well, my hand is not able to hold the mobile any longer. I have to fold up. I did not get down to the intersection. See how these cars are all pulling up? Some of the possessed people that are on the bikes and things are very, they do have a very aggressive exterior even, so it makes you wonder what their internal function is like. Because if, like I say, that's what I say, when the matrix people openly become aggressive, That's really because most of it is covert in this reality. Most of it is hidden. It's a secret. The secret is that you're surrounded by negative, dark, dead, low energy, beings in, that everything looks similar, but what is lurking behind the human form is not all the same. We know that anyway, but it is much more dark and deeper, and this matrix is much more technological than what you can actually see, and even what I can actually see, but I see the results of it. You will know people by their actions, by their covert actions, and sometimes by their direct actions. In other words, the matrix does expose itself, but if you're not looking, and if it doesn't separately target you to where, it comes down and suppresses you openly, then you may not see it, or you might miss it. You'll miss a lot. And so you won't realise that you are in a technologically controlled maze. Those trees over there are deception. In the sense that these cars that are technologically operated by technologically mind-controlled, by the mind of technological type people. I'm not putting this well. Maybe one day I'll be able to get my thoughts collected to where I can put it to where it is actually accurate and actually makes sense too. Because I'm very careful about the words I use, because I don't know if I'm expressing the full reality. Maybe there are more than 2 types of people in the world. My father said there are only 2 types of people. And I guess in his own way he probably should have said, well, there's positive human beings and negative human beings. Negative human beings don't try to use anything positive. They forget about being positive and just decide to concentrate on being negative. And of course their whole goal is to eliminate anything positive, because then they rule. Then they are a negative matrix controlled by a essentially anti-life, anti-human, technological duality God that does not like anything that is natural and does not believe in doing things in a natural way. Human beings are only exploited for their natural life force while they're in this negative anti-life matrix. They are like, they're just like a drug. Love is the drug. I think that was the song. Love, in fact I saw this, I saw it yesterday on the internet. Yeah, love is the drug. That's an old song. Love is the drug of the choice of the non-life matrix technical people. Love is their drug, but love is not what they consume. They do not operate at receiving or taking into themselves the positive love drug, shall we say. They get the human to become a non-love drug. In other words, because the human is full of emotions and feelings which contribute to the reality, and they're a life force, I'm not putting this well. Oh dear. The love is the drug that they think of and that they need. Well, I mean, you could say that is what real humans tend to want. And when you're very young, you actually are aware that you need it. As you progress or degress or go backwards, because you don't progress in this earth matrix, as you go backwards in this earth matrix, you can sometimes reject that need or push it to the background because you know that you are mainly dealing with, at some point you realise you're dealing with people that don't want to consume that particular positive high frequency emotion. They want to turn your thoughts into the opposite of that, which then sustains their negative energy. Well, basically just keeps them going. It gives them energy. They are just negative anyway. They're a negative, dark, kind of dead to life or to the love drug, as the I don't know what I'm talking about here. The matrix has confounded, confused, and completely making me not make any sense, because I'm just saying words that are coming to me, but I'm not getting it right at all. I know what I'm thinking, but it's putting it into words is not easy. I should have got down to that corner. See, I could have been down to that corner a dozen times and back. Instead, I've just got transfixed here by the matrix in a few spots. Okay, bright lights. See, it's still, the sky is still light there, even though it is, the street lights are on. I was just going to say that plane going over there, but that's not going over my head for once, so that's all right. But I can see it flashing its lights, even though it won't come out on the thing. That's another thing too. They flash their lights, the planes, at real people. They do that to get you to focus on it, so that you feel that yes, even when you look up at the sky, there's something that is watching or negative there. You don't think, oh, that's just a plane and it's wonderful taking some people to some interesting place or something. No. So but the street lights are on, as you can see. You can see over the tree, that's a big street light. They're coming on. Now, I was just going to say that and you'd have to check this out, but I'm pretty sure that in a previous video, maybe a few videos ago when I was filming along here, when there were no street lights on, and it was broad daylight, earlier than now in fact, and brighter, that there were no street lights on to my naked eye. But I noticed that when I looked at the video, after I downloaded it, that there was a strangely flickering street light. And I cannot make of that what you will too, but of course I can't, probably say, well, I got that wrong, I didn't see it. But, you know, that's why I say it is a matrix, and they can, and also, like, why was that street light on? Like, why did it not come out on the video? Not that it matters, but I wondered about it. But it did come out on the video. No, I'm saying it did come out on the video. I saw it flickering. It was actually flickering too. Now, you probably say I was moving the camera, so maybe I was making it flicker. Well, I actually wasn't. It was flickering in the video, but to the naked eye, I didn't see a street light on at all. Not like now, where I'm openly saying, look, I'm filming a street light and they have come on. Just as I'm pointing at these cars and saying, see, some of the cars have their lights on. In fact, they're all probably going to put their lights on fairly soon if it gets darker. But there's one there without lights. They're those ones that have the fancy big lights. They are very obvious matrix cars from my perception, or my reading of reality and my experience, okay? It may not be your experience, but it is mine, and so I'm, you know, if you don't agree, that's okay, but that is definitely my experience. I know it to be true for myself. You know, the brightness of the car lights are an indication to me. But, you know, that is just my feel of it. And I've got nothing left now in this reality except to go with my, you know, the old intuition and feelings, because there isn't a real long road. You see in the distance, one car lights is much brighter than the other. That is a solid matrix vehicle, a technologically controlled vehicle. Depending on how you want to take the level of that control, whether it's, like I say, what the individual, or not individual, because they're not individuals, no. They are all connected because they are not operating as single individuals. Even if it was just one car that said, oh, I'm just going to follow Patricia Tixie Gilligan around on the City West Link. I'm just going to drive around and round. It's one car. That would be an individual. They would still be patrolling, but they would be an individual, and there would probably be a reason why they were doing it, even if they were just deranged or had a stalking mentality or something, or had nothing better to do. As some people have pointed out, well, maybe I've got nothing better to do than to film these matrix cars. Well, I feel quite exhausted here now, so I wonder. See how those lights dimmed a bit as they, but either way, I've lost my thought here. Oh, buses are coming in behind me. They're up there. I don't know whether you can see that. The buses are... Oh, I didn't know that those buses were piling up at the back of me, just behind me, just in this wall here that's in front of me. I didn't even see that because the noise of the traffic is diverting me so much. But I can't focus on everything, but I am a bit surrounded if you really think about it, and my leg is losing its mobility here, so I might have to toddle back and try again. But either way, I'm going to try to end on a more, what's the word? You know, a fairy tale light, or at least making it sound as though I have some sort of artistic merit or something, but I don't know. That was a big one. So I'll try to finish with bus going behind me there. Not going to come out, I can see it, but it's that wall's reasonably high, but the bus is going just along where those trees. Oh, it's not relevant, is it? Oh, dear. But of a night time, you do get the real light show with the cars, because even the trucks now have lights and the buses have more lights on them. This is something that I noticed over the last few years. That's why the reality changed a lot for me, not just, at a personal level, local level, but the vehicles themselves seem to have changed at that same time. Now that is not something you can prove to people, because I can't prove that 4 years ago there were less lights, different types of lights on the cars, less lights on the trucks. But those of you that are aware of this know that it's so, because you probably would experience it too. Squeaky. They always seem to, they're noisier now than what they used to be. They always seem to have brake problems or making an aggressive noise as they go past, as though they need to put more fuel into their engine or something. Well, it's been said that human beings are the fuel of the matrix, and the fuel of the matrix beings. They consume it, they need it. And this was described in a video to me yesterday. We are like these cars to the matrix people. We're like their car that they drive. Except that we are like the fuel that they put into their car, which is their body, to give them more energy, to give them more life. Otherwise they would be very lethargic and so negative that they they would be like dead. They would be like, they probably would have more trouble dragging themselves along this street than what I do. I don't think I put that one, but it was put very, very well in a more professional, even I was about to say bait. It was a technological video in the sense that even the voice was a computerized voice. But that's the thing. That's the problem. That is the reality. Is that the human reality and the human ideas and even what is going on will be put through technology and through technological voices, technologically controlled beings out there to confuse and to make the remaining real humans that are not 100% aware that it's so important to be real life and natural. That's the best way I can put it, as opposed to believing in the technology and believing in technological controlled beings that are nothing but a negative life force in a negative reality. Even though they may talk more positive than me, they may give better advice than me, they may make a lot more coherent speeches than me, and real people, we get dumbfounded. We get we can't always express what we even know and think. But the matrix is taking the human thought from the highly intelligent, high vibrational, real life human beings that are remaining in this matrix, in this dead matrix at this time, and takes those thoughts, gives them to their technical beings. While the real life human can't express those ideas or thinks them, but the matrix is connected to our minds at this time. Matrix knows that I was more coherent in my thinking before I came out here to make this bungled up matrix infiltrated or influence video, because I'm affected by the negative cars, obviously. So there could be positive cars in amongst those, but they are surrounded by negative cars and with the lights on, to where I don't get a connection with the real lifers. I mainly am connected to the majority, which is like a negative. Okay, that's it.